What is going on, everybody, and welcome back into the studio. Now, today in the studio, we are working with some varnish. Now, the painting that we're going to be working with is Tulips Crown, a oil painting I had created probably a few months ago. So it's been in the studio drying for some time. But it's finally time for me to go ahead and finish this painting out and get a varnish layer on it and kind of just finish it up. I'm also going to add some kind of hanging hardware to it just so that if it ever does sell, it's ready to go out the door and I'm completely finished with it, ready to sell, right? Now today we're going to be working with a gloss varnish. Now this varnish here is Winsor&newton professional grade gloss varnish. You can get it online in my Amazon affiliate listed below, or you can also get it at Michael's and Hobby Lobby and all of those other crafting stores. It runs usually about $9 to $12, maybe $16 depending on the what's going on in our economy. But you can get it for different prices. And as a tidbit, guys, I'm actually recording this after the fact, so I've already varnished it, and I'm going to give you some tips and tricks along the way that kind of helped me in using this. One thing that I would recommend is don't be afraid of this, guys. A lot of times in the past, I used a lot of satin varnishes. I like that kind of balance between matte and high gloss. So I like that kind of just enough shimmer to give it a little bit of vibrancy, but just a little bit protective so you can see that it has a clear coat on it. That satin gives us that a lot of times. But I have a lot of paintings come out that near recently and in the future that I want to give a ultra nice gloss layer to it. And that's where this gloss is going to come into play. I also want something that's super easy, no brushes. All you need is the can in a level surface in a clean area, and you can go ahead and add a layer of varnish to it. Now, I will say this, do this outside in an open ventilated area or an area that you're going to go ahead and use this in and then just leave the area for a while just because it has a little bit of smell to it. If you are sensitive to smells, this will kind of bother you, but I found that this doesn't really have more so of an aerosol smell to it. It has a sweet aroma to it, and that just could be me, right? Everybody has different delicacies and things like that when it comes to smells and things like that. But I would recommend you do it in an open area so that way you don't get any of these particles in your mouth or in your lungs breathing just natural air, right? Anytime you get any clear coats or anything in your lungs, it's just never good for you guys. It causes your lungs to harden up, and we just don't want all that. So we want to keep that away from our bodies if we can. I like this because it doesn't involve any kind of gloves, any kind of brushes. It's just really nice and easy. But you do want an area that is clear of dust and debris so that way it doesn't settle into your gloss varnish as it's drying, right? So let's go ahead and get into the outdoor area. We'll get the painting out. I'll show you what it looks like just now, raw, just oils. And then we'll go ahead and clear coat it, let it dry for a few days, and then I'll bring you back into the studio in here, and I'll show you what it looks like under some lighting. Let's get to it, guys. Alright guys, so we're in the outdoor area now, and I do have the painting just propped up on an easel outside. It's getting natural light right now, and as you can see, it just looks absolutely bright, vibrant, and beautiful. Now, it is dry to the touch, but I also am wondering if it's going to be a little bit of a rainy day. So I'm wondering if there's too much overcast, but we're going to run with it and just try and see how it turns out here. Now, I have it just propped up on a box. Sometimes just the easiest, simplistic way is the way to go. And we're just going to use the can in small bursts after shaking it. Make sure you shake it up real good. In small bursts around the outside edge of the painting. Now this painting, I did not paint the painting all the way around the edge of the canvas. I didn't wrap that painting around, but we did paint it in a nice, beautiful ivory black. So we're going to go ahead and hit that with the spray all the way around. And we're only going to do one coat of this, guys. So just one coat all the way around. But we are going to take our time with the process. Pretty easy overall. Nice small bursts all the way around the outside edge. Make sure we get a good coverage here. And then when we actually paint the top portion or the forward facing part of the canvas, it's a little bit different. We're going to do this in a nice continuous spray all the way back and forth across the entire canvas, making sure that we can see and get a full good coat of this varnish across it. You don't want to miss any places, and if you need to put a thick layer on it, then go for it. The varnish will self-level as much as it can, depending on how much you have on there. I do have a lot of textures on this painting, not as much as I do, say, like a full palette knife painting, but I did apply some textures to this with both gold leaf underlay as well as some thick layers of palette knife painting. And here we are. I'm just going to do a little bit of a showcase. As you can see, it's just fully wet here, super glossy, and it is very, very beautiful. Look at it bring all of those colors to life. Now, oils in themselves are very vibrant as it is, but this is just next level compared to, say, what you would get with a satin or something like that. Here's just another like side clip of the side of the painting here. We want to make sure we don't apply too much to where we get drips along the outside edges, that's all. Alright guys, so we're back into the studio and we're going to go ahead and pull out this painting and I'm going to show you what it looks like varnished completely. Now again, we are using Winsor&newton gloss varnish from the can, which is a little bit different than the usual container type of varnish we use from like Liquitex or things like that. So let's go ahead and get this painting out here. Here it is. Now this is Tulips Crown and is one of many florals that I'm planning to create over the next year or so. I have a long list of them. Now these are my original reference photos that I had personally taken of floral plants out in the field. So I'm out in different arboretums and things like that, taking pictures of these. If I'm out in the fields and ditches in my 9-to-5 blue-collar job, then I'll take pictures of some flowers on trees and things, and sometimes those will re-emerge in my artwork. That's the whole point, and that's the enjoyment of the journey as well, as you take your own reference photos and you create your own artwork from them. It's different than just using reference photos off of Google. It's just more you. You get what I'm saying? Artists out there, you get what I'm saying. So this is the actual painting itself. Now it's just an aerial view. It has a beautiful green background. Gave it my simple symbol right there for the signature. And of course I have all my details on the back of it. I also am going to go ahead and apply a hardware to the back of it, but that's neither here nor there. But as you can see, this thing has an absolute great varnish layer to it. Look at the light kind of glisten off of it. Hopefully I can catch that in the camera there. And I'll also put it onto the station here and give you some B-roll here. But this thing turned out absolutely great, and the varnish layer really does give it a great distinguishing picture to it. What do you think, guys? I think this thing turned out absolutely incredible, and I really do like the ease of using the can varnish as opposed to, say, a brush or a sponge and some more liquid base that you would get out of a container. I know they put those in squirt containers and buckets and things like that, and you can get different grades of those. But this was just super convenient, guys. So if you haven't used can varnish, don't be afraid of it. Just make sure your oils are completely, at least mostly cured completely to a nice touch. And then, of course, acrylics, make sure they're dried for a few days and cured up before you go ahead and add any kind of varnishing layers to it. And remember that this varnish is removable, so you can always remove that later on down the road and then detail like a scratch or something like that. Otherwise, guys, I hope you enjoyed the addition of this to my varnishing playlist here on my YouTube channel. If you have not liked and subscribed already, make sure you do so, guys. You're missing out on so much content. I think I'm up to 500 and some videos on YouTube, and I look forward to creating even more for you guys. So I will see you guys on the next awesome video, whether it's varnishing or painting or something in between. Let's have some fun. Peace.